It's like the little notification at the bottom of the screen on like an Android phone.
Okay.
You know? Like,
Heroes never retire. I just saw that on your shirt.
Well,
That's right.
Yeah.
I guess we're about to
Hey everybody, how are y'all doing this evening?
Woo! Yeah!
Thanks everybody for coming out. Hope the new date is something we can get used to. We're going to be meeting for our Wednesday workshops on the second Wednesday of the month, trying to stay away from holidays and other first Friday and other first events of the month. So hopefully this will work out for us. So shout out and thanks to our host Brewery Buddy, who were able to set us up with a space again all year long for that matter. I actually noticed on the front of the fridge they have an Urban Farmer from Good People, so check that out. There's also some pizza over there, and if you're if you like it, give them a few dollars as a glass jar, tip jar. You can give them something back. So some upcoming events. Drinks with Geeks will be at Band of Brothers Brewing. It's going to be next Thursday on the 16th, and then on the 30th, which is going to be the Thursday after Thanksgiving. We're going to try something new. It's going to be a game night. It's going to be here. We're going to be able to let people bring some games. We're going to have some of our own, and we're going to spend a few hours and have a good time together. So, and then next month, the Wednesday workshop will be on the 13th, and Brian O'Born will be presenting on something. I have no clue what it is. Genetic algorithms and procedural generation.
Yeah.
I have no clue. I'm sure we're going to get some more details about it and push it out so that everybody can keep up with what that is. There's also one thing. Did you already shut it down?
No,
Nope.
it's right here.
So if you're able to, if you have an idea, if you want to hear about, if you have a topic that you would like to share, bit.ly/spark-topics. It's just a Google sheet, and you can add your topics in there. So we're just crowdsourcing, trying to figure out what would you like to hear next. And now I'd like to introduce Dylan. Dylan and I and Brian and Wes worked together at Randall Riley. Dylan is a University of Alabama graduate in 2016 in computer science. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
He's going to be speaking tonight about application development for Android, and also talking about an application he created called LiBusy. Did I get this pronunciation right?
Yep.
LiBusy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So hopefully by the end of it, we will learn how to create an Android app using the Android Studio IDE. So,
Okay.
Dylan, the time is yours.
All right. Hey guys.
Yeah!
So I'm doing. This is the website for my app. I made it in CS 495 about a year, actually exactly a year ago, pretty much. So I figured that this nice stock footage video that we have here for our promotional video will explain this better than I could. So explain my app.
The library. A place for reading. A place for studying. A place for collaboration. But it's not always easy to find a study space in a library. Anyone who's dealt with finals will tell you that. Wouldn't it be nice to know which library and in what seat you would be sitting in before you got there? That's where we come in. Welcome to LiBusy. Let's get started. LiBusy is a community-driven application for finding study spaces on campus. Let's take a look at the map. It looks like we're next to Gorgas Library. Let's take a look at it. Not very busy, only 3 check-ins in the past hour, and it's currently open. Let's turn on the heat map to see where other people are sitting. Wow, one right next to us. Each library has its own heat map and own set of data. Let's check in. Doesn't look very busy to me. Let's click Not Busy. From here, we can access library resources, such as available computers, library databases for papers, and we can even book a study room. All of this will take you outside of the app to the internet. Don't know how to get to a library? All you have to do is pull it up on the map and click the button in the bottom right-hand corner, which will take you to Google Maps. Easy. From here, the libraries are at your fingertips. Anytime you need to find a seat, all you have to do is open up LiBusy. Don't deal with crowds of people during finals week. Just use LiBusy. It makes group work easier, it makes studying easier, it makes your life easier. So stop worrying and get busy. Get live busy.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think they lost the feed on the internet, so like all the people that are watching missed that. But let me, is that good, Josh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get the idea of the app. It's like a location-based thing. You can like check into libraries and tell how busy they are and stuff like that. I figured that what y'all are interested in mostly is the implementation of this app. So that's what I'm gonna go to now. So this app runs off of an API that I made. I made it on I put it on Heroku. Like I didn't spend any money making this. It says error communicating with the server because I didn't spend any money making this, and it's on Heroku free. But see, well let me start by talking about Android Studio. So Android Studio is the recommended development environment for making an Android app because it comes with all the tools and stuff that you would need to create your app. Like you can build all your files and stuff, and it comes with like these nice emulators and stuff where I can set my exact location and things like that, which is always good, which it's not working right now for some reason, but okay. So here we can set the location and go back, and it tells us how close we are to these libraries, and I can, well, apparently I'm not close enough. I'm not close enough to the library.
You're a little far to walk.
Yeah. Anyway, you get the idea. So what I was gonna spend most of the time talking about is how to use an external API to pull data in to your Android app. Does that sound cool with everybody?
Yeah.
Is that something that like, okay, cool. So for LiveBusy, I made this Singleton class network manager that has like all the API calls and stuff that you could ever want. You know, it's kind of crazy and complicated, you know, but you really don't have to do all that just to make like a simple API request. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and make a new Android Studio project. I'm going to call it Spark Project. And like, I'd say that the earliest API for Android, earliest Android version we're going to support is going to be 5.0 because, you know, 5.0 came out several years ago. If they don't have that, they don't need the app anyway. You know, they need to get a new phone. And one of the other cool things about Android Studio is you get like this is new even for me. Like when I logged back in, they didn't have that. When I made the app, I had to pull an external library in for that, but you can have all these activities and stuff like pre-made for you, so you just have to add some stuff to it. Like you can even have like a Google Maps activity, which is like half of my app, you know, and you can just have it like pre-done. But we're just gonna make a empty activity because we like to do things ourselves. And it takes a little bit to do all this stuff. So while it's loading, you see here it created this main activity class, which activities are the main thing that your app runs from. You know, like the first method that gets called is this onCreate, and they'll like create your activity, and like there's a full like Android like activity lifecycle. It goes like onCreate, on view created, they have like on connected, on stop, on destroy, like stuff like that, so that you can control like the state of your application. Okay, it just finished. So I'm gonna run this, and I'm using this emulator that I created. It's a Google Pixel and it runs Android 7.0. And so the thing that's actually building this app is called Gradle. It's like what Android uses to build the application. You see it's pulling in like all these external dependencies here, like App Compat is like the thing that allows you to make like to use all the newer APIs that Android has from like 6.0 and on, and make them compatible for like Android 5.0, which doesn't have access. They call it Compat because it means like compatibility. So I guess it's running. See, that's all we got right now.
Hello.
So yeah, great job.
Hi.
Everybody happy. So application to look. So whenever this set content view gets called, it calls R, which is like a global static class that contains like all the pointers to like every resource that you have. And you do r.layout, which means that you're going into this layout directory, and activity main, which means activity main.xml. So it's creating this is add the internet permission to the Android app because it's run on. Go to the manifest. You see, we're ready for that. After these, because otherwise none of that stuff has been instantiated yet. So you're gonna get like all kinds of null pointer exceptions and stuff like that. Oh, and one thing that we also have to do before we do this is we have to include the volley library in the Gradle file. So I'm just gonna grab this. So all this is doing is pulling in an external library for us to use. And then like seeing Android Studio files, that's going to take a minute. That means that stuff hadn't been imported yet. And the nice thing about Android